Welcome along to this week's episode of Behind the Boxes. What a massive week of greyhound racing we've got coming your way. Of course, it's highlighted by the Group 1 Dapto Megastar on Thursday evening. We've also got the Newcastle Cup for the stayers over the 715 metres to be run at the Gardens. And joining me, as always, my mate, my partner in crime, Timmy, the Battler, Newbold. Hey, Battler, looking forward to Thursday night. You and I will both be trackside at Dapto.
Yeah, g'day, Duke. Another exciting week of greyhound racing. Never a dull moment. Always feature races and plenty happening. But yeah, looking forward to getting trackside to Dapto on Thursday night. We've got a big live stream coverage of the evening. We did one on Big Peter's night at Woodworth Park, and it all went well. So looking forward to doing it again, and hopefully we can find the punters a few winners or two. Got a bit of form to do over the next 24 to 48 hours, and really delve right into it. And hopefully we can find a winner or two along the way.
Yep, and as I said, we're going to preview the Megastar. We'll preview the Newcastle Cup. We'll look back at the Richmond Straight Track Championship. You've got a very busy day. So due to the beautiful wonders of modern technology, I'm actually going to be speaking with Frankie Hurst by myself. And then I'm going to be speaking with Jack Smith about Jungle Deuce heading to the into the Phoenix by myself. So, mate, I don't know what you've got on in there. You've got the new backdrop. Where are you? Where you're at Wenty now, Battler?
No, I'm in head office today, Duke. So, yeah, I'll probably only invoice half, I think, for this week's show. What do you think? Or a quarter, maybe. I haven't done a great deal.
Knowing you, mate, it'll be full rack rate. Don't you worry.
Yeah, hey, I might do that, but I won't get paid.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I tell you what, go into that meeting I know you've got to go to, because right now I'm going to talk with Frankie Hurst, a man who, as we know, puts the polish on the likes of Good Odds Harada and Sound of Silence, who is in the Group 1 Dapto Megastar on Thursday night.
Yeah, well, we couldn't ask for a better box. I mean, the box definitely gives him some hope in the race, you know. If he'd drawn outside in that field, well, he'd have been toe dodged, you know. But because he's got the one, it brings him into the race.
What about his run last week, Frank? Inside, outside, balking off dogs' heels. It just showed his true class.
Yeah, well, he can do that as long as nothing sort of gets him, because, I mean, he's a very tractable dog now. He can go in, out, over the top sort of thing anywhere. But, you know, I mean, if something stops in front here or something runs off, or you're trying to come from behind, you're not much hope.
I've got to say, mate, I've marvelled at what you've done with him, because it was only a couple of months ago he was winning over the 729 metres at Dapto. Tell us what the key is to bringing him back to be able to sprint and run 29 sixes at Wenty.
Look, he won about 3 700s. He won a 700 at Wenty, and he won 5 or 6 600s. Then he sort of got up in grade a bit, and there wasn't a race for him every week because he had to go in the top grade 600s and that. So there was none on. And we've seen that age race coming up in a month's time. So I said, we'll just give him a few weeks off and freshen him up and bring him back for that. At least he's got to get a run in that. So that's what we've done, and it just went from there.
Quite amazing. Back, I mean, yeah, quite amazing how you've done it, mate, because there's, as you know better than me, mate, it's sometimes hard to get a dog to come back and sprint after they've been over a middle distance and long distance trip.
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't done nothing special with him, mate. You know, there's no secret.
Except put your polish on him, mate. Yeah, your polish is what's done it, buddy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that. I haven't got any polish. Maybe Tracy has.
Oh, well, she's not going to come and do the interview. I saw her before. She scarpered like Fernando Bale out of the box.
That's right.
Hey, Zipping Kyrgios, obviously, Frankie's run last week, 29.40, showed he was back to what we know he can do. He's the obvious danger, but comes up with a tricky alley, mate.
Look, at 29.4, he trialled 29.3 there before the race. So everyone knew what he was capable of running and that sort of thing. And, I mean, with a clear run, we can't beat him. You know, there's no way now my dog can run 29.3. He, you know, hopefully he might get down to 29.6 or something like that. But, you know, if it begins, gets a clear run and runs 29.3, well, it'll be taking home the money.
Well, there's nothing that'll beat it. But as you and I both know, mate, that's the wonders of racing, and what may or may not eventuate doesn't always happen.
Oh, that's right, mate. You know, the best dog don't win every race. You know, that's just a fact of life.
Hey, Frankie, I want to go back to the beginning. Tell me where you got started with dogs, and you know, who was responsible for you, you know, ending up with a collar and lead in your hand.
Oh, look, when we were kids in Granville, there was a great trainer called Seppy Golan.
Yeah. Used to have a trial track, didn't he?
He was a great trainer, and we used to just hang about his place, walk his dogs, give him a hand every now and again, and that sort of got us started. And then when I was about 18, I bought my first dog, and it just gone on from there. I've had dogs on and off ever since, you know, but we've been sort of full on for the last 25 years.
And what about Trace, mate? Was she involved in dogs before she met you?
No.
You've converted her, Frankie.
It took me a long time. A long time, mate. Well, she had two sons to raise of ours, you know.
Yeah.
So early on, you didn't have much time for the dogs when you got a couple of kids and a house to run and that. But then as they got older, she sort of became more involved, and now she probably knows more than what I do. So,
I just want to go back to that thing. What were you doing for a job at the time? You know, how were you combining training dogs and working and all that? Because it's something that a lot of people really struggle to do now.
Oh, look, a fellow asked me at Maitland's got a heap of good dogs. He's a businessman at Gunnedah, and the other night or the other week, and he was talking about, he said, I'd like to be professional like you, sort of thing, you know, and just do the dogs. I said, well, mate, you can't do it. I said, it's impossible to do it on your own.
Yeah.
I said, especially if you're doing something else, you've got a business to run or something. I said, unless you've got a real good helper. I said, because you just can't do it on your own. Forget it. If you're working now and training dogs, you can't keep up with the people that aren't, the people that have got their own straight tracks, their own this and their own that, and they're full on, you know.
It makes it hard, doesn't it, if you're working a full-time job, particularly if you've got a family as well, because you've got commitments with that. Like you said, Tracy looked after the boys, you were training dogs.
You know, if you got one dog, you could probably get away with it. But, you know, anymore, I wouldn't like to be doing it. Not now. It might have been all right before, but now the industry's gone fully professional. It's gone up a big notch in the last few years. So maybe the dogs aren't as good as what they were years ago, but there's more of them.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Frankie, obviously we know through your deeds of Good Odds Errata, I'll get to him in a minute, and Good Odds Cash and Sound of Silence at the moment. I want to go back. I want to talk about Zulu Seuss.
Yeah.
What a chaser he was, mate. We probably never really saw the best of him. Is that correct?
Oh, he was a great dog, mate. You know, like he was running 29 frees at Wenny and 30.08 at Richmond, 26 at Bull Eyes. You know, he was a very fast dog. So was his brother. The whole litter was good.
But again, he was a dog that, the national sprints and all that sort of stuff, that he was competitive in any class. And with a bit of luck, mate, he would have been that, that very, very good Group 1 dog. But, just the way it worked out, it wasn't meant to be with him.
No, they both sort of, him and his brother, like Zulu Zircon, there was a split match between them, mate. He was a great dog, Zulu Zeus.
I want to go back to 2019, Frank. $1 Million Chase, the second running of it, Good Odds Errata. Talk us through the emotions of that night. I mean, you came up with a great statement after you won the race, that you were a millionaire before the race, maybe not in money, but in terms of quality of life. And I still see that photo with the arms outstretched, like, you're the king of the world, mate. It's just one of the most endearing memories I've got, not only just of you, but also of greyhound racing.
Oh, look, that was super, super thing, Who'd have ever believed? No, if you'd have said 20 or 30 years ago, we'll be racing for $1 million, they'd have locked you up, mate. To get a race like that, and now it's on every year. This year we're having 2 of them apparently to make up for the one we missed. But, you know, unheard of. Like for me, as I said, I considered myself a millionaire before that because I got a good family. I virtually it didn't change me at all. You know, it makes you more comfortable and all that, but it don't change you. If I'd have won it when I was 40, $1 million, well, then I'd have been partying for 3 weeks, mate. You know, I didn't. You know,
what'd you do? Party for 3 hours, Frankie?
Be lucky to get there.
Hey, but how special a dog, obviously. I mean, taking away the $1 million chase. And I said a few weeks ago on this show, the battles he's having now with Sunburst Highway in the Masters grade, it just goes to show, you know, how stoic these dogs are, how tough they are, how much they love racing. I mean, how special is Harada to you and Trace and the family?
Oh, the dog loves it, mate. You know, he just likes to get out in that. You know, I know he knows he's a superstar. I'm telling you. Don't worry about that. Not stupid, you know. And when he goes there, he knows people looking at him. People want to pat him. People want to talk to him. People want to tell him how good looking he is and all that sort of thing. You know, like you'd love to be him, you know, to get the admiration that he gets. But, you know, champions like him don't come along too often, you know. Yeah. You're always going to get fast dogs. I've had plenty of fast dogs, plenty. But they don't go on, mate. For one reason or another, they either break down or they just give up, sort of thing. Like, he's 4.5 years of age and still running 29.8s at Winnie and that. Yeah. You know, like, he don't want to stop. You know, I think about it all the time, you know. Oh, I said, we won't put him in, you know, we won't race him again and that, and, you know. But at the end of the day, the dog that's beaten him sometime has won 34 at Winnie. Yeah. You know, he's not a bum. And still running the imagination, is he?
And still running 29.8s, mate, as you say.
Yeah.
Good luck, Frankie boy. Thank you, mate.
Thanks a lot for the interview, mate. It's always my pleasure talking to you. You know I love you. I'll see you on Thursday night. Take care.
Sound of Silence comes up with box 1 in the Dapto Megastar on Thursday night. Hey, Battler, 4 heats. You were there last week. What about Zipping Kyrgios? A lot of people have written him off. I've got to say I wasn't one of them because there's that old saying, form is temporary, class is permanent. Box 2, bang, straight to the front, runs the arms off the leg, a length outside the track record.
Good night, Nurse, when he began like he did, and he went straight to the front. Duke, he had trialled prior to the running of the race, I think a week earlier, and he'd run around 29, 30 odd in that trial. So Minnie and John, they were confident they had him back. I think we're all a little bit disappointed in his couple of runs prior. Even Minnie mentioned on the night when I was chatting to her, she just said, yeah, it was the most disappointing run of his career, the previous run at Whitworth Park, but he pulled up fine. They couldn't find an issue with him. It was an off day for Zipping Kyrgios on that particular night at Whitworth Park, and he bounced back big time, didn't he? When he went to the top, I thought, oh, geez, this record's going to, you know, been a little bit of danger here, but he was just outside. Outstanding win, and he was clearly the best of all the heat winners as far as times were concerned. But Sound of Silence, his win to take out his heat was outstanding after finding a little bit of trouble in the early and mid stages.
A little bit of trouble, I think, is an understatement. He was, you know, I just said to Frankie, if you had been on the interview, you would have heard me, you know. Inside, outside, running up bums of dogs, not his fault. Just a terrific effort. Comes up with box 1 in the final. Both him and Taka Kartik ran the same times. Let's just talk about Light and Lily. Battler won a 7th race at the track and ran a new PB. We know she's a Group 1 age-restricted winner, taking out the Peter Mossman Opal. Not badly drawn on Thursday night.
Yeah, she'd know every little bit of sand around that Dapto track, no doubt, educated around Dapto, and she just keeps on aiming up. She's looking to take out her 2nd Group 1 victory in a couple of months, and I guess, you know, early days, you probably wouldn't have thought she would have got to that level, but she just keeps improving. Young Geordie Tweddle, he's done a tremendous job with her. And look, she's not too badly drawn wider out, but Cowgirl Ethics could be a little bit of a hang-up in the early stages. She'll run sort of a straight line, but does want to come across, ease over toward the first turn. So Light and Lily's got to contend with Cowgirl Ethics in the early stages. But Duke, when you go back and do the replays and you have a look how all of these greyhounds come out of the boxes and run the direction to the first turn, it's a very, what I would say, a straight race. There's no hard railers. They're running straight lines. Tachycardic wants to get up the track a little. So he'll stay, I'd say, straight from his alley. Light and Lily, she doesn't really want to go hard left. Cowgirl Ethics will come across. And the greyhound in box number 5, Special Blend, he'll run a straight line in the drive to the first turn as well. I think these inside boxes are going to be right in the mix, just due to where the greyhounds in 4 out to 8 are drawn. As I said, they won't be coming across hard to the rails. So I think that inside trio, they're going to be right in the mix through the first turn. Zipping Kiros, I generally like him drawn in the middle of the line, but I think it's a bit of a tricky draw in the 6. As I said, for those reasons I just alluded to, he might just get caught a little wide in the drive of the first turn because he doesn't normally come out like he did last Thursday night. We know he can be a bit touchy early. So I think he's got to get his box manners right on song to take it out on Thursday night.
Yeah, won the Group 2 Blacktop at the Gardens earlier this year. He's won 22 of 44 battler, 50% winning strike rate. And he's got a great record across all boxes, but from box 6, 4 starts, 3 wins. Box 7, 5 starts, 3 wins. And you're right, he is rocks or diamonds at the jumps sometimes, but we've seen him come out and run, a really fast first split at Wenty from box 8 as well. So, he's probably not going to get affected by Light and Lily that much. I want to know where you think Sound of Silence is going to be as they go through the catching pen.
I think he could be punching up 3rd or 4th, Duke. I think Marvin's Girl is the leader for mine. She's a clear leader. It will depend whether Ritzadonna can get across in front of Sound of Silence at the first turn. If she does do that, she's going to be a big, big chance in the race, Ritzadonna. But she's got to beat Sound of Silence to the punch and get right behind Marvin's Girl, because I think Marvin's Girl is a certain leader in the race. And I'm not sure whether the outside division can get across. And that does include Zipping Kiro. So I've got him mapping 3rd, 4th on the inside. And if he's into the clear down the back straight, he's got fresh air, the leaders better look out, because we know what he can run home in. Last week was 12:30 odd, and they don't come home much quicker than what he did last week. Ritzadonna, she was a bit unlucky because she had a bumping duel with the leader in the home corner in that Sound of Silence race, and she lost a bit of momentum. So that, and then he gobbled her up in the latter stages. So I think she's a big, big chance from that 2 alley, Duke.
Yeah, well, Frank just said that he thinks Sound of Silence can get down to around that 29.6 mark, but as we just heard, he also said if Zipping Kyrgios gets clear air, it's game over. I know it's easy to tip favourites, Battler. I know it's easy to try and find something to beat them as well, but off a 29.40, running the arms off the clock. I mean, do you want to tip against Zipping Kyrgios this week?
I've got to, Duke. I think in the early markets, he's $1.85, and I think in this particular race, how he's drawn, he's under the odds. So I've got to steer away from him. I'm his biggest fan. I've been with him all the way through from day dot. I just think he's under the odds at the current price. I think if you're a punter and you want to be on Zipping Kyrgios, hold off. I'm sure he'll get out to black odds come for Thursday night in the final. I think Marvin's Girl's got a terrific chance here, Duke, at a big price. She's double figures. I think she's a certain leader. She led clearly at the first turn, and she was only collared by Light and Lily in the heat last Thursday night. She ran 5:42 early fraction. Now, she can get down to low 5:30s. She didn't begin all that well. She kind of came out on the wrong leg, and then she let go and rushed to the top. It was only a small field. So she's suited by a full field. I think she can get down to the 29.60. She's run 29.79 around Dapto. I think she's going better now than what she was when she ran that time. I really think she can lead. If she gets, as I said, if she begins, I think she'll run low 5:30s. that will have her leading the race. Now, where does Sound of Silence get to? Where does Ritzadonna get to? And where's Zipping Curios at that point? But at the price, I think she's got an undeniable chance. Marvin's Girl, I've got her on top. Sound of Silence, obviously, he's perfectly drawn. And if he can just punch up and if he can hold, you know, second or third and only 3 or 4 off her, look, he's the one to hold out. Ritzadonna, she's got a great chance in Zipping Curios as well. But look, at the value, I've just got to be in Marvin's Girl's corner at the moment. As I said, $12, $13 around the traps, recording this on Tuesday.
Yeah, look, and you may be Zipping Curios' number one fan. I'm probably number 2. He's done me a number of favours. I remember one night at Wenny in the last race, he had box 5 and he was $5 or $6 and that. And I agree. I think the odds are poison at the moment. But I also, there's not a dog in the race that can run the time he runs. And again, as I said, he bounced back last week. Greyhounds get confidence when they do that. They know how good they are. They know how special they are. And when they turn in a performance like that, invariably, bingo, light bulb goes on again and they're switched back on. So I can't tip against him. As I said, we'll be there on Thursday night battle. You can watch it all live stream on thedogs.com.au. Head across to Friday at the Gardens. We've got the Newcastle Cup for the stayers over 715 metres. $25,000 goes to the winner of this event. 2 heats last week. Unfortunately, Zipping Niseko was a mile in front, was going to run time, was going to win, and broke a hock. Tragedy there. Cool Burbsky didn't just break the track record, Battler. It obliterated it. Did you see that coming? Because I got to admit, and again, she's been a very good dog to myself and Macca when she won at Grafton in the Grafton Stayers Cup at around the $10, $11. But I never expected her to run that sort of time at the Gardens over 7:15.
No, I think if you saw that coming, you're too good, and you probably you could probably retire if you did find Cool Burbsky, and particularly that to think it could run 41-40 odd. Quite remarkable. Look, it's a whole different race. In the final, has drawn wide out in box number 8. Did come from the 4 in the heat, but look, in the care of Jason McKay, we know what he's capable of doing with a greyhound. Just sometimes, an old putter has always said to me, be wary of greyhounds the very next start after the break a track record. So I've got that's in the back of my mind. Line of quality, you know what he's capable of on his night, but you know he'll be out the back early, relying on inside runs. Zipping Ontario, I think, has got a tremendous chance. I think you can just put a line through his run in the heat where he finished. He was beaten 14 or 15 behind Cool Burbsky. Of course, it's a big margin to make up. But look, he found trouble in the early stages. He's drawn box number 1 where he does want to be. He ran 42-16 at Wenny Park from box number 1 4 or 5 runs ago. So I think from that inside box, he's going to be right in the mix. But look, at the moment, you know, Cool Burbsky's the one they've got to beat after posting that scintillating time in the heat.
And what about Ice Cream Story? You know, probably a lucky winner last week in the sense that Zipping Niseko did break down. But again, there's no disputing her class and her quality. And she is a dog that we know can come out running on occasions and can set up a hot pace up front.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, she was lucky to win last week, but we know what she's capable of. She's unbeaten in 2 runs at the track and trip now. She's better for those couple of runs. She'll be third up at the track. She can handle wide draws because she's got those good box manners and the early and mid-race speed to get across and put herself right in the mix. She's got an undeniable chance. She's just a class act, a 15-time winner, Duke. But there'll be pace coming across from the wide alleys here in Ice Cream Story and Cool Burbsky. So it'll be just interesting how the inside division, if they can punch up and hold that pair from getting across. And if they do, I'm leaning towards Zipping Ontario at the moment. If he can just hold his position in the early stages, he really lets go mid-race and he'll take a stack of benefit out of the run at the track last week. As I said, put a line through the run really because he was put out of play in the early stages. As far as any of the other, Double Bluff on her night, Duke, she could certainly take out the race. She's very, very capable when she's on song, and she's probably going to go around at double figures in a race of this nature.
All right, so that is Friday afternoon at the Gardens, 5:27 p.m. It's race 9 on the card, the $25,000 to the winner, Newcastle Cup. The Richmond Straight Track Championship, the final was held last Saturday. Mick and Michelle Lill haven't had a lot of luck with More Sauce and Casual Glance. They're both on the injury side at the moment. They've both been injured, but they've got a pretty handy replacement here in Olsen Street who won and ran a length and a half outside the track record.
Yeah, he's really found his mojo in recent weeks, hasn't he? Up the straight there at Richmond, 17:42. He just got fresh air and then he let go, and then he was just coming away at the end. He's always been a pup with a stack of ability, Duke. He won 6 of his first 8 starts, and then he sort of had a few little issues mid-year, and now he's come back in the latter part of the year, and he's come back for the Lils firing on all cylinders. He was brilliant winning his heat as well, and then he really backed it up in the final when he just got that fresh air. He's well bred. Fabregas had a Karma Connie. I loved her. She was a ripping bitch. She could sprint, but she could race over the middle journey as well. So he's beautifully bred, and as I said, he's now 9 out of 16 overall. He can run quick times up the straight. He's run quick times at Gunnedah, Maitland, and the Gardens as well. So he can do it on all the different tracks. So I think they're going to have a heck of a lot of fun with Olsen Street, and particularly, he'll be very competitive in the final. Don't worry about that, Jeff.
And that final will be held at Capalaba, Battler. So, as I said last week, great to see straight track racing back. And we had a lot of feedback after showing Star Title winning that Wyong Straight Track Championship. The human headline, Greg Wynn, was in the vision. Sterlo was there. Davey Irwin, of course, put the polish on Star Title. Memories. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon at Wyong, they were the days. And again, it's back. And we've now got 4 straight tracks around Australia, which is absolutely sensational. Now, again, Battler, I know you've got a meeting to get to. The wonders of modern technology again. I'm going to click my fingers, and right after this, I'm going to talk to Jack Smith. I'm delighted to say that Jack Smith joins us now. And, of course, Jungle Deuce won the GRNSW slot by the Daily Telegraph voting. Hey, Jack, tell us how you felt when you found out the news.
Oh, yeah, it was overwhelming. Like, it was just a big thrill. Being the people's choice and, the Daily Telegraph and New South Wales all getting behind us. So to think that the people voted you in was very humbling. It's
the second people's dog because, of course, Feral Frankie was tagged, the people's dog, and that it obviously bears great relevance to the following that you've got as a trainer and also your dogs as well, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Dirk. I don't know. We seem to have a fair following with these days with the social media. They can get on and see what you're doing, and we've always been out there a little bit.
And, of course, you're right across social media and technology, aren't you, mate?
Oh, yeah, real good. Yeah, as you know, this is taking a bit of a setting up.
Hey, listen, you came up with a unique concept of offering to shout the bar at the Forbes Inn if Jungle Deuce got the slot on the voting with the Daily Telegraph. Who came up with that idea, mate?
Not me, because I don't like giving away money. But, no, I think it was Melissa, my daughter. She said, Dad, we've got to get out there and do some stuff. And the inn here has been good to us because, when we promoted the $1 million race with Ferrell on that, they let us in with the dog. He's been in a couple of times for different things with Stanley and all that. So I said, oh, all right.
Yeah, so you're shouting the bar, mate?
Yeah, when the race is on, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So is it true that there could be a phone call to say that there may be a bomb scare at the Forbes Inn just beforehand, knowing how tight you are with $1?
That was our secret, dude. That was our secret. I don't know what. Yeah, we'll work something out.
So you're hoping for about 6 people in there, all drinking lemonade, mate.
Mate, if I go all right, I don't care what they drink.
Hey, listen, Jack. As is the case with regional towns and that, the locals really love to get behind a good cause and support one of their own, and they did that by voting in spades. But you also had the support of the local newspapers as well.
Yeah, they all got behind us. Like we, when it first come out, as you know, I'm no good at all this social stuff. So Melissa said, Dad, you got to do a bit. You got to get out there and have a crack. So she was in charge of all that. And yeah, we got out there as much as we could to get in, because, you know, it's not very often you get a crack at $750,000, just a one-off race. So we thought we better have a bit of a go. So we did.
And they certainly got behind it. Let's talk about Jungle Juice now, Jack. You've got 1.5 weeks now. We're recording this on Tuesday morning. You've got 1.5 weeks before the race. His last run was in a 600-metre event at Dubbo. What have you done with him since then, and what are the plans between now and when the Phoenix is run on Saturday week?
It hasn't been too much different. I took him to Dubbo on Saturday and give him a 400. Well, I wouldn't have done that. And he just absolutely through and run 22:49. And they don't go much quicker than that. I was talking to Shane after, and he said, you know, that's getting down to Shaky Jakey's time, like. So, and then we're heading off to the Meadows for a box-to-box on Thursday morning. And then we'll sort of, have a quiet week, just free galloping at home.
And we know he handles the Meadows as well, Jack. We know he handles a lot of tracks. I mean, he's always been a greyhound with enormous ability and really high speed. The box draw will be conducted this Sunday, and it's a different type of box draw. You actually get to pick the box.
Yeah, let's hope. I'm not last out, I suppose. But, it is different. You got to think about it. And been the whole way along, hasn't it? Like, even being in the race through, knowing 3 weeks ahead that, just different. You've got to start thinking about what you're going to do, and this will be the same. Yeah, you've got to think about what box you want. So it won't be too hard for me. I just get closest to the fence as I can. So,
and it is a little bit different because, it's 3-week preparation leading into a race, but with no heats, no final, just a straight out selection, mate. How have you obviously haven't changed your program with him a lot?
Oh, well, I was ready to do some middle distance racing. So, I have. I've had to say, well, okay, we've got to freshen up. So, hence just the 400, which he absolutely went beautiful. So, and now just a box to box. Well, I usually wouldn't go 8 or 9 days, very rarely, from not being behind the hair, but I will next week. So, but he'll do plenty of work at home. I don't want to go down there underdone.
Yeah.
That's just murderous. So, I think it's very important that we draw near the fence.
And it's going to be a big night on Saturday week for you. Marie's going down. She's got her own table. The owners as well, who have been with you for a while as well, Jack. Yeah,
they're all coming. There'll be a bit of a cheer squad there. So my mob will be there. So they'll have a good time, win, lose or draw. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's all we'll be doing.
And what about post the Phoenix, mate? You just mentioned you're going to step him up to that 600. We saw what you did with Miss Esme, 500, 600, 700 into that Group 2 Sydney Cup. Do you think Deuce can get a longer distance? Can he get that 700, do you think, mate, or is he a bit too brilliant for it?
Yeah, if you've seen him go Saturday night, you probably think I'm mad, but I don't know. He's more relaxed now in everything he does. He's a little bit lazier at home and working, which happens when you get around the 40 or 50 starts, whatever he's had. I think he's only 30-something, actually, but he's just more relaxed, and he's showing that when he races. So, these days there's a lot of money in the 600. Dubbo's got 125,000 to the winner coming up early next year. There's good 600-metre racing at Brisbane. So, if you can find some 600-metre races, there's a few bob there if he wants. And if we think he can go further, of course, we'll have a look. Yeah,
and that big race at Dubbo, the world's richest middle distance race, 125 to the winner. That'll be held in March next year. And obviously, Miss Esme, she'll be targeted. Just talking about her, what's the latest with her, mate?
Yeah, she come on season, so we've given her a bit of a break. So we've got to get her back in now and see if we can get her ready.
All right. Hey, Jackie, I'd love to get you on next year for an extended chat, mate. Talk about your career in the game as well, because it has been one that's had plenty of highs, mate.
Yeah, no, we've been lucky, mate. Certainly.
All right.
So that'll be
mate,
great.
Fly the flag well for New South Wales on Saturday week, mate. I could imagine the celebrations that will take place at the Forbes Inn. And good luck, mate. You're racing for 750. It's, again, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, no, thanks, Duke, and thanks for the people that voted him in.
Jack Smith there with Jungle Deuce. He'll fly the flag for Greyhound Racing New South Wales in the Phoenix slot. And Battler, Jack, look, Jack's own admission is that he might be tight with $1, right? That's Jack. They were Jack's words earlier today. And like I said, he's probably planning someone to ring the pub to have them evacuated, right? So he's only got to buy 3 or 4 drinks for some of the locals that can't get out of their chairs.
No, he'll be right. It'll be a big party if Jungle Juice does get the money. Look, he's box reliant to enhance his chances. We know that, but gee, if he comes up with 1, 2, or even 3, he's in the race right up to his ears. I think the last time I looked, Duke, I think it was $17 or $21, maybe around the trap. So I think if you backed him, you are relying on him drawing an alley, because I think he'd find it pretty tough in a race of that nature, drawing 5 through to 8 to get across, because he hasn't got that blinding early burn when he's up in Group 1 company. Or I know it's not a Group 1 race, but you know what I mean. It's up in elite company. But gee, if he draws an inside alley, he's got a tremendous chance, and we know he'll be cherry ripe come race time. Jack will have timed his preparation for the minute, no doubt about that.
Yeah. All right, time now for What's Hot and What's Not, proudly brought to you by our great sponsor, Ivory Coat. If you're looking for food and kibble for your racing greyhound or your companion animal, check out the great range from Ivory Coat. Hey, Battler, what is sizzling for you this week, buddy?
Well, my old mate, Glenn Goodwin, and his wife, Robin, they are having an amazing trot at the moment. Just going through recent wins, they've had 8 winners in their last 10 starters. There wouldn't be too many trainers in the country with a better strike rate right at this very point in time. Up the straight there at Richmond on Saturday, Radiation, who's been a great money splitter for the team, is a 15-time winner, won yet again up the straight there, running 1760, beating Hardaway Ranger. But yeah, it's Robin and Glenn. They're based down at near Dapto. They've been having a really good run over the past probably 3 or 4 months, but in particular the last probably 2 to 3 weeks. As I said, 8 winners from their last 10 starters. So shout out to Glenn and Robin Goodwin, who are doing a tremendous job with their greyhounds at the moment.
All right. My greyhound that is hot this week is a greyhound by the name of Integrity Mate, trained by Robbie Andrews up here in the Northern Rivers. If you get a chance, well, actually, you are going to get a chance, because Kat is about to drop the replay on right now. Have a look at this for a run, Battler, from box number 4. Now, I know people will say, yeah, but they walked. They ran 23.89. That's not my point. My point is for dogs to be able to pick themselves up and go again, and then pick themselves up and go again. This was an amazing win. And as I said, I know they ran no time whatsoever, but just the style that the way Integrity Mate did it, it was just amazing. He's by Kibo out of Let's Win Misha. Let's Win Misha, raced by Bradley Barnes, who's bred a litter. And again, litter brother to Thirsty Collie, who's a handy dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I made Thirsty Collie the dog to follow a couple of weeks ago. So that litter, it's certainly thrown a few with ability. And yeah, what a phenomenal win that was. But yeah, forget about the times, Duke. It's what greyhounds, the manner of which they win races. And that was outstanding after finding plenty of trouble, that's for sure. And yeah, no doubt, many more wins in store.
Yeah, he's only had half a dozen starts now for a couple of wins. So Integrity Mate, my What's Hot dog of the week. All right, Battler. We've been going all right on the punt as far as on the tip is concerned. I don't know about the punt, but yeah, I know. Yeah, that's another story. All right. Have you got a winner for us this week again? She's a Pearl did the right thing last Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, $1.85, $1.90. Yeah, I'm not going to go and watch for that. I'm
that's happy to cop $1.80 at the moment.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, she's absolutely airborne, isn't she? She's a Pearl. But my dog to follow this week, Duke, I'm heading to Nowra on Monday, and a newcomer by the name of Fantastic Luna for Jason Fletcher by Barsha Bale at a Fantastic Flossie. So homebred greyhound, straight to the top and really let rip over the final stages. I love the way she attacked the line. She really knuckled down, and that was the best part of a race. She ran 20 and 61 overall, which is a quick time around Nara. But I've got no doubt when she does get up to the, a little longer, the 500 metres or even a little longer if it's stretched out to 600 metres, because her mum did race over the middle journey in her career. But I think she's one to really keep an eye on. We know what Jason Fletcher's like with a dog. He has had some outstanding chases throughout his career. And I think she's a greyhound who could certainly go through the grades. Fantastic Luna.
All right. I'm sure you probably saw this greyhound win last week at the Gardens. A greyhound by the name of Tree, prepared by Lisa Lamb. Obviously, the track was fast. Cool Burbsky smashed that track record. Tree went 5:09 early. And Battlers, you and I both know 5:09 is only steady.
Yeah, I'd nearly run that.
Yeah, probably.
No, not in the shape I'm in at the moment, Duke.
I would have, in my heyday of playing A grade for Asquith back in 1981, I would have definitely.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I can show you.
Got anyone who can back you up with that?
Yeah, I'm going to bring the footage in. I'll get Kat to put the footage up. Anyway, 5:09 early, which is only average, right? Roared home in 11:94, Tree, and clocks 29:27. And you know what? You're talking about old adages, about the old timers saying, don't back a dog after it's broken a track record. How about the old adage of always back a dog after it's had a fall?
Yeah. No, that a professional punter told me that years ago. One of the first things I learned as a punter coming through was, always back a greyhound after it had, or the comment was, don't be afraid to back a greyhound after it's had a fall. Well,
she took a tumble at Wenty the start prior, and then came out 1 by 10, as we've just seen, but 29:27. Seriously, that is a hot run.
Yeah, that 11:94 run home time. There wouldn't be too many greyhounds who have run quicker than that coming home, Duke. That is literally off the charts. 11:94 final section there at the Garden. So no doubt, Charlie and Lisa, I'll have a bit of fun with that greyhound moving forward. And it's another, no doubt, with a run home time like that, we'll definitely get over a little more ground later in its career.
Yeah, Tree, my dog to follow. It's not in this week that I can see so far, but is definitely one that's got a stack of ability. Hey, Battler, I will see you on Thursday night, all things being equal, because I just got a notification that my flight from Coffs Harbour to Sydney's been cancelled. So I might have to jump into the car and drive, but a big night coming up at Dapto, buddy.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Jerk. It's always a big night down there at Dapto. It's a pretty good final. Look, there are, other than Zipping Curios and Sound of Silence, there aren't, a heap of big name Group 1 greyhounds in the race, but, Lyman Willie's a Group 1 winner. So, look, all in all, the heats were only light on after a few scratchings, but I think we've landed with a very, very good final, and, it promises to be a good race. As I said, I think it'll be interesting how the market, or where the market lands, whether Zipping Curios gets out in the market when we get closer to the race, but really looking forward to the big live coverage. We do it all again, eh?
Who could forget last year's Megastar, mate? Flying Ricardo, Simon Told Helen, just an absolute classic two-dog war, and it was the making of Flying Ricardo.
It was, and I'll tell you what, after the heat last year in the Dapto Megastar, after Flying Ricardo's heat, I think we all walked away and go, what happened there? He didn't put the time on the board at all. And I think Christy and Sam, they were shaking their head and said, oh, geez, what happened there? And he just wasn't right on song. But I'll tell you what, 7 nights later, he put Simon Told Helen away. And he did it with ease when he ambled up on the outside. I still remember the race vividly because they came out together. They went stride for stride in the early stages, down the back. And then he put on the power. And he really, I think we saw that was a making of him. And I think that night we thought he is, I always thought he was a real deal, but that really cemented at home when he did that to Simon Told Helen, one of the quickest greyhounds we've seen in 2 decades, Duke. He was a machine himself. Yeah.
Who knows? We may get another race like that on Thursday night, Battler. As I said, I'll see you then. It's going to be a big weekend of racing, Newcastle Cup as well, mate. I'll catch you at Dapto.
Looking forward to it, Duke. Well, we might have to stay dry. The weather forecast doesn't look all that crash hot. Hopefully they're wrong again. They've been wrong plenty of times.
As long as they've got a nice little meat pie or a hot doggy for us, happy days. All right, buddy, I'll see you then. And thank you very much for your company on this week's edition of Behind the Boxes. Don't forget that live coverage. You can watch the live stream on thedogs.com.au this Thursday night. He was Timmy Newbold. I'm Mark Duclos. Catch you next week on Behind the Boxes.